into a cross-legged position. Rest your hands on top of your knees and just close your eyes. Taking these first few moments just to settle into your body. Settle onto your seat. Just taking the time to transition, right? From maybe you just woke up and feeling a little groggy or something is still on your mind. Just take the time now just to kind of change the landscape, right? Becoming a little bit more present onto your mat. Now begin to open your eyes here. So with this morning flow, let's get started and just get into our body. And just a quick 20-minute flow in the mornings or just throughout your day, anytime actually really when you want to do this practice. So starting with the neck, dropping your chin towards your chest, still sitting up nice and tall. Roll your head to the left here, ear on top of the shoulder, and just feel the stretch on the right side of the neck. Come back through center, moving over to the other side. So stacking your ear on top of the shoulder. Feel the stretch on the left side of the neck now. Come back through center, over to the left again. Take your hand, place it onto the side of your head, just with like the most gentle, caring guidance, right? So you're not yanking your head, you're just slightly giving it a little bit of weight just to deepen the stretch on the right side. Stretch your right arm out to the side, fingertips are spread wide, as if you're trying to reach down towards your mat. Release, come back through center with the chin, and then switch to the other side. Rolling over to the right. Take your hand and place it onto the left side of the head, and just gently again, guiding it with loving care. Stretch your left arm out to the side, fingertips spread, splayed apart. Good, release, come back through center with the chin. And then lifting up your head. Good, now I just want you to begin to come into some twists here. So starting off with the twist, just moving, right? We're not holding. I just want you to see if you get some momentum going back and forth, even incorporating the neck. Again, always being mindful with your movement. This time when you make it over to the right, I want you to pause there. Right fingertips behind you and just kind of support yourself with your left hand on the right knee. Every time you inhale, it's an opportunity to sit a little bit taller. And every time you exhale, it's also an opportunity to twist a little bit more. Good, and then let's switch to the other side. To the left. You can ease your way into the twist, right? So you don't have to think about going to your deepest version just yet. Just ease your way going with the breath. Every time you exhale, you're able to just go a little bit further. And then come back through center. Getting into the sides of the body a little bit. Reach your right fingertips out, and then stretch your left arm up and overhead. As if you're trying to reach over to the right. You could bend, flatten your hand, or bend your elbow in towards your side. Good. Come back up through center. Left hand down on the fingertips. Stretch your right arm up and overhead. And feel free to just maybe flatten the palm, going a little bit deeper, or bending your elbow in towards the side of your body. Inhale, come up back through center. Let's do that one more time on each side. Right fingertips down. Stretch your left arm up and overhead. Maybe go a little bit deeper, a little bit further this time. Inhale, come up, switch. Left hand down, reaching over with your right arm and your right hand. Breathing into that right side of the body here. Inhale, come back up. And now, just to make things fair, let's switch the cross of our legs, so other shin in front, whichever it is. And let's come into a forward fold. Stretch the arms up and overhead. With an exhale, think of the action happening from the hips. So you're hinging forward here. So really think of your tailbone long as if you're trying to root it down into the mat as you stretch forward. I like shimmying the body from side to side, just helping me reach and stretch a little bit more. And then find a little bit more stillness. Really breathe into the back side of the body here. Especially in that low back. Gonna take one more breath here. Walk your hands back. And then lift yourself back up. Going the other direction now. So opening across the front body. So bring your fingertips back behind you. And I want you to roll your shoulders back. Lift the chest up. So shoulders roll down the back. You can look up towards where the wall and the ceiling meet. Or maybe looking up a little bit higher. Keeping the back of the neck long as well. Good. Exhale, come back to your center. And now let's make our way onto our hands and knees now, coming into tabletop position. So feel your shoulders stacked on top of your wrist, fingers are spread wide. Feel your hips stacked on top of your knees. And already I want you to think of pushing into the ground firmly, right? Especially into your fingertips and that first knuckle and thumb. Good. Just getting used to being on our hands and on our knees. Already doing work here, by supporting yourself up. Good, next inhale, I want you to lift your tailbone, so feel your sit bones spread apart. Drop the belly, open across the chest, and lift your chin up slowly. On an exhale, start from the tailbone, moving up the spine, so moving in an opposite direction, curling up. Chin in towards your chest last, so really draw the navel in. Inhale again to your cow pose. Exhale to your cat. And a couple more rounds just on your own, so follow your breath here. Right? No need to worry about what I'm doing or how I'm cueing in terms of inhaling and exhaling. Just go with what your breath is telling you. Good. One more round of your cat-cow. And then make your way into neutral position, meaning you're not overarching the butt and you're not tucking under. You're somewhere in between, but feel your tailbone reaching down towards your mat. Good. Also remember your neck is in line with the rest of your spine, so you're not just dumping the head down here, right? Keep it supported. So think of chin towards your chest, like you're creating a little bit of a double chin here. Good. Now I want you to shift your weight into your left hand. Reach your right arm forward here. Stretch it forward. So working a little bit more on our balance, but also finding a little bit more core strength here. Push into your left hand. Lift out of that left shoulder. Good. Bring this right hand down and switch. Really root down through that right hand. Reach your left arm forward. Try to bring your upper arm close towards your ear, your bicep close towards your ear. And then bring your left hand down. Other side. Stretch your right leg back, toes pointing down, inner thighs hugging in. Good. Bring that right knee back down. Other side. Left toes pointing down, left leg straightens out. Think of inner thighs hugging, spinning back towards one another. Good. And then release back down. Big toes touch, knees apart. Bring the hips back, child's pose. This is always such a wonderful pose to come back to. Just to kind of, redo, take a moment, redistribute the energy, reconnect with your breath. Always know that you have the option to come back here. Coming back up, and now let's kind of sync the two movements together now, but with the opposite limbs here. So I want you to reach your left arm forward, and then stretch your right leg back, right? Notice what your hips want to do. They tend to want to open out to the side. Try to keep them squared. All right, so really think of your inner thighs rolling back, squeezing in towards one another. Good, stretch your right leg back, stretch your left arm forward. Good, and then release, and we'll switch. Right arm reaches forward, left leg reaches back. Again, I know sometimes for me when I come into this pose, my core tends to be the thing that goes, right? Try to keep everything hugging and knitting in, especially those lower ribs. So you can stretch out a little bit more. Good, and then release. Right hand down, left knee down. I want you to curl your toes under, and then really pushing into your mat, lift your knees up about an inch off the mat here. So just hovering. Good time to check in with your breath. Good time to check in with what's going on in your mind. What are your thoughts? What kind of thoughts are coming through? Take one more breath. Exhale, hips up and back into our downward facing dog. So first downward dog, I actually recommend keeping the knees pretty bent generously. And just move around. Bending your knees one at a time, or both at the same time, sinking the butt back. Play around with swiveling onto the left edge, outer edge of your foot, inner edge of your right foot, move the hips to the left. Coming back through center and then switch to the other side. Outer edge of your right foot, inner edge of your left foot, hips to the right. Inhale, come up back through center and just find stillness here. So arms are firm. You're pushing down vigorously through the fingertips. Your legs are firm, especially if your upper thigh bones pushing up and back. Good, one last breath here. Next exhale, let's lower your knees down onto the mat. And then inhale, I want you to come into your cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose, and begin to bring your hips back towards your heels. So we make our way back into a child's pose. Inhale, back into your neutral tabletop position. Open the feet, and then hips up and back, downward facing dog. So a few more rounds just like this. Lower the knees. Inhale, come up into your cow pose. Exhale, make your way into cat, but at the same time, move the hips back, coming into child's pose. Inhale, come back into your tabletop position, open the feet, curl the toes under, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Exhale, lower the knees. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, hips back, child's pose. We'll meet there. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Lower the knees on an exhale. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat, make your way to child's pose. Inhale, coming up. Toes curl under, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good, so feet are about hip width or wider than hip width. I want you to keep your knees nice and soft, meaning keeping them bent. And let's just fold forward here. Hands can stay on the ground or grabbing onto opposite elbows. I like this variation just because it helps me feel heavy in the upper body, so I'm not holding onto anything, right? The tendency here is just to kind of be lifted, head is lifted. Try to keep it heavy here. So you're just folding over an imaginary rod right here in front of your hips. Move the body from side to side, like a pendulum, even bounce the chest up and down. Release the clasp. Next inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's walk back into our downward facing dog. Make your way down with the knees. And I just want you to sit on your butt, swing your legs forward here in front of you. I'm just finding a little bit more connection here with the core, so I want you to lay down onto your back. And once you made it down onto your backs, I want you to bend your knees. So knees could be together or they could be separate, up to you. But I just want you to know what the front ribs are doing, right? The tendency is that it wants to stick up. See if you could bring that in. Immediately you'll notice that your low back flattens down onto your mat here, drawing the navel in. Especially think of keeping the low belly engaged here. Now hands could be down by your sides, palms facing down. I just want you to alternate toe tap here. Stopping one toe and then the other. Going back and forth, and let's do 10 on each side. Right, the entire time, notice how the front of your core, you're bracing yourself, you're keeping it nice and engaged. Always checking in, especially with that low back. If it's feeling sensitive, then just bring your legs a little bit lower. Or just don't go as far with the tap. 2 more on each side. Last one. Oop, extra one there. And then release the feet down onto your mat. Good. Now we're going to do 2 feet at the same time. So coming back, 90-degree shape. And now let's just see if we can tap both feet at the same time. So let's do about 10 of these as well. Here's number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Release down onto your mat. And even release this engagement here, right? I feel my low back already off the mat. And let's find a twist here. So extend your right leg out. Left knee in towards your chest. Move the hips to the left a few inches. And then bring that leg over. So arms could be in this soft cactus shape. If you feel like it's not accessible, you feel like you're really far off the ground, just bring this leg up back through center. Or just place a prop like a block or a book underneath. And if it's okay for your neck, just look over to the left here to deepen the twist. 2 big breaths here. Inhale, come up back through center, and we'll switch. Left leg comes out in front of you, right knee in towards your chest. Roll onto your outer left hip, bring that leg across. And same idea. Look over to the right if that's feeling okay with your neck. Come up back through center. Just finding a little bit of more opening of the front body here. So walk your feet in, and I just want you to think of your heels in line with your sit bones, right? These bones in your butt. Feet are parallel, so toes pointing straight forward, even slightly pigeon toe, like ever so slightly, meaning the toes are turned in a little bit. So think of knees tracking over your ankles, tracking towards your toes. And the next inhale, I want you to lift your hips up, sending your knees forward, but also think of your tailbone here moving in the direction of your knees. Good. See if you can find a little bit more lift. And then slowly coming down one vertebra at a time. Let's do that 2 more times. So you can keep your hands flat on the ground, or I like to call these robot arms, bending the elbows, fingertips pointing up, and then doing that same action, lifting up, tailbone still drawing towards your knees, knees pointing straight forward. Make sure that the weight is evenly distributed in both feet, that you're not just leaning more towards the outer edges or the inner edges. Feel everything even in the feet. And then come down 1 vertebrae at a time with control. Good, last time. So you choose with the arms flat down, robot arms, or this time when you come up and you feel like it's a little accessible, it's okay for your shoulders. You can interlace your hands beneath you, rolling your shoulders underneath. Keeping the legs strong and active. Staying alert throughout the entire body. Good, let's take 1 more breath here. Unclasp the hands, roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Wrap the arms around your legs and just rock the body from side to side. This is actually one of my favorite poses, just massaging my spine into the mat. Let's find happy baby. So think of knees going towards your armpits, soles of the feet point up. So this might just be what you're at today, right? Holding onto the back of the knees, your thighs, or holding onto the shins, or if it's successful, maybe reaching onto the edges of your feet. And same thing, you just rock the body from side to side. This is a really playful pose, because it just takes us back to what I guess being a baby is like, right? I don't remember, but I can only imagine when I see other babies. All right, finding stillness, release the feet, making your way into Shavasana, a really important resting pose. Closing the eyes. And this is where our practice will end today, where I'll leave you. So feel free to stay in Shavasana for a minute to 5 minutes, however long you'd like, before making your way off the mat. But this is where I leave you, and I say goodbye until next time.